5 News at Noon starts now.
Right now at noon, it's day 2 of the government shutdown, and some federal workers are feeling the impact. Up next, how TSA agents at XNA are coping without pay. Plus, a beloved Fayetteville restaurant is closing its doors, but have plans for a new space with the same community spirit. Welcome to your 5 News at Noon. I'm Tiffany Lee, here with meteorologist Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
It is October 2nd,
yes.
But Danny, it's feeling a little bit like summer out there.
I was going to say, it feels like August 2nd with the temperatures in the 80s. The humidity is not bad, which is great news. We're kind of getting the best of both worlds with the warmth and the lack of humidity. We'll show you what's going on right now outside. Show you a live look in Rogers. And the dew point is a little higher, 64, but certainly not, the mid-70s we've seen throughout the months of summer there. Otherwise, again, a pretty nice day out so far. Maybe you're hungry for a little red lobster there in the right-hand corner of your screen. Sorry, no free advertising. Got to block it up now. Well, not going to block it up now, but you can see nice day there along I-49 in Rogers, and really across the region we're seeing pretty nice conditions. Temperatures in the 80s area wide, 79 there down in Waldron, but overall compared to this time yesterday, it's a few degrees warmer. It's not a massive difference, or really should just say a couple besides Sallisaw there at 4 degrees warmer, but again, just enough with a little bit of hint of humidity as well that maybe it's just a slightly more feel like summer. Now, right now, we're seeing pretty quiet conditions. However, you're seeing these clouds start to bubble up, right, like they usually do during the afternoon hours of a summer day, or, well, again, it's not summer, it's fall, but like a warm fall day, we'll call it. And in this area right here, we'll watch for any showers potentially developing later today. And that's what will be the theme for today, is maybe some spotty showers if any of those clouds are able to kind of build and tower. Could see some showers and maybe a brief downpour out of this. We are otherwise going to stay warm and stay dry for the rest of this week into early next week. So let's talk more about that here and get you ready for the rest of the weekend coming up in your full forecast. Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, police are calling it a terror attack after a man went on a stabbing spree outside of a UK synagogue on Yom Kippur. 2 people are dead, several others hurt. Authorities have now made 2 arrests. A man drove into pedestrians and began stabbing them outside of a synagogue in Manchester, England. Police say they arrived within 10 minutes and officers shot and killed the suspect before he could enter the synagogue. Local reports say that the chaos unfolded as the Jewish community marked Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar. The British Prime Minister called the attack appalling and promised more protection for Jewish communities.
Additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
The attack comes just days before the 2nd anniversary of the October 7th Hamas raids in Israel, a conflict that continues to raise tensions across the UK. Well, the Trump administration says federal layoffs will soon be coming if the government shutdown continues. And with no negotiations currently taking place, that looks more and more likely. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump says today he'll meet with the head of the Office of Management and Budget to talk about further cuts of federal agencies as a result of the shutdown, posting, "I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity."
We're going to look at agencies that don't align with the administration's values, that we feel are a waste of the taxpayer dollar. And look, unfortunately, these conversations are happening because we don't have any money coming into the federal government right now.
The administration has already targeted billions of dollars in funding for infrastructure projects in New York, and threatened climate-related funding in more than a dozen blue states is next.
Sources tell CBS News the head of OMB told House Republicans on a call Wednesday that federal layoffs or reduction in force will happen in the next couple of days.
That's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today.
He just wants to impose pain on Americans because he thinks that Democrats actually care and that Democrats will be forced to back down.
Despite congressional leadership at a stalemate,
there's no negotiation right now.
There were signs Wednesday of bipartisan conversations among rank-and-file lawmakers trying to find a way forward.
There's a lot of bipartisan hope that we can make this shutdown as short and costless as possible.
No votes are scheduled today due to Yom Kippur, but votes are expected in the Senate on Friday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Senate Republican leaders are tentatively scheduled to let their members go home for the weekend after the Friday votes. Well, back here at home, the state is already feeling some of the consequences of the shutdown. TSA agents at the Northwest Arkansas National Airport are some of the federal workers who are required to stay on the job. Veterans Affairs says that it will not provide career counseling, and the regional benefits offices will be closed for the time being. Other programs across the state that rely on federal funding include Head Start, low-income energy assistance, and college grants. It's still unclear if or when these programs will be affected. 5 News spoke with 3rd District Congressman Steve Womack last week, who said a shutdown was bad news for the country.
I'm not a fan of shutdowns. Shutdowns are problematic because they're expensive. Federal agencies have to go through a lot of gymnastics trying to plan for it. And then the added challenge is one day you got to open it back up. And under what conditions do you open it?
Governor Sanders says that she's working with the Department of Finance to determine which programs will be suspended and which employees will be furloughed. Well, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol says that it arrested over 100 people this week in a 4-day operation with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. The operation was focused on a stretch of Interstate 40 near the state's border with Texas. Troopers say that they arrested a total of 120 people suspected of being illegal immigrants. Troopers say most were driving large commercial vehicles without proper documentation at a port entry into western Oklahoma.
Every commercial motor vehicle that enters into the state has to stop at that port of entry. Nearly 25% of the people that we came into contact with were not here legally.
The Highway Patrol says that ICE agents transported any undocumented people to holding facilities in Oklahoma and Texas. While a joint operation involving the Department of Homeland Security leads to the arrest of 7 men facing child sex crime charges. A total of 7 men ranging in ages 25 to 57 were arrested. The crimes include internet stalking of a child and failure to register as a sex offender. These are their mugshots that the Benton County Sheriff's Office shared on Facebook. Agencies that were part on the operation include Fayetteville, Springdale, Van Buren, and Harrison Police. The Washington County Sheriff's Office was also involved. The suspects you see here are all being held in the Washington County Detention Center. Well, just in, a man is facing a second-degree murder charge after the man he's accused of shooting died. We first told you when 21-year-old Robert Skelton was arrested in connection to the shooting of 20-year-old Josh Medford. Medford was shot in the head and later died in the hospital. Skelton's charges were upgraded to second-degree murder, according to court documents. Skelton pleaded not guilty yesterday. Court documents reveal that the shooting was over a dispute about drugs. Skelton's due back in court in December. Well, a bomb threat targeting specific school buses prompted a swift response in Fort Smith earlier today. Fort Smith Public Schools say that there was no evidence students were in immediate danger, but out of an abundance of caution, staff evacuated the buses and contacted police. The Fort Smith Police Department quickly investigated and cleared the scene. Officials say that normal bus operations have now resumed. Well, this month, the Arcegas Mill District location will close. News reporter Emily Moss is outside of the restaurant after speaking with the owner.
Carrie Arcega tells me that this decision is purely financial. They put a lot of money into renovating this building, but now the mortgage is high and they can't make the payments. It's their only location, he says, that is currently losing money. They decided to sell earlier this year. They sold to a new gluten-free bakery, which will also incorporate Arcega's coffee. So they'll train their baristas and be able to continue keeping that presence here in the area. Carrie Arcega tells me this decision was difficult. However, they'll always keep the memories that they shared at Mill District.
This has been a gathering place for a lot of people. We've had weddings here and memorial services. It goes past just feeding people, brunch. It's been a community space, and that's why I say it's bittersweet, because I love coming here, I love working here, and I'm surely going to miss it.
This location will close on October 19th, but all of Arcega's other locations will continue to be open. The Arcegas are also looking into opening a new location on Mount Sequoia. Those details have not been finalized yet, but Carrie Arcega tells me that he expects some sort of announcement coming soon. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Emily. Well, the Razorback Greenway connects 40 miles of cities throughout Northwest Arkansas. Today, the city of Rogers will discuss how they can continue to improve their section of the trail. They'll review phase 1 of the work that they've already completed, which includes adding mile markers and striping. The Walton Foundation has given more than $1 million grant for the project. While today's meeting is not a public hearing, city leaders say that they'll gather feedback from officials on how to keep the project moving and what improvements to make next. We'll keep you updated right here at 5 News. Federal authorities are trying to figure out what led to a scary plane collision at one of New York City's major airports. According to the FFA, a regional flight arriving from Charlotte, North Carolina, was taxiing to its gate on Wednesday night. That's when it was struck by another regional aircraft bound for Roanoke, Virginia. Both planes, operated by Delta Airlines, were going at a low speed at the time. No passengers were hurt, but one flight attendant suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital.
There was some very significant force that took place here, so the investigators will look at speed at the time. It can be pretty challenging sometimes at LaGuardia, so it's imperative that pilots are always heads up, looking around.
Delta says that it will cooperate with the investigation and rebook impacted travelers at LaGuardia. Well, who gets the ticket when a driverless car breaks the law? That's the dilemma that police near San Francisco faced after a Waymo vehicle made an illegal U-turn. It's not the first time that an autonomous car has caused concern. New video shows a Waymo self-driving car passing a stopped school bus with flashing red lights in Georgia. It's a move that would land a human driver a hefty fine. Just days earlier, police in California pulled over another Waymo after it made an illegal U-turn. The only problem is there's no one to give a ticket to. Right now, California law does not allow citations for driverless cars, but that changes next year. Waymo, owned by Google's parent company, says that its data shows fewer serious crashes than human drivers, but admits that the technology is still learning. The company is reviewing both incidents and says that it will handle any tickets as any driver would.